Hey Hebrew fans, this is Todd and I have Sharella, and I'm so excited to open her up, check her out. And so let's go ahead and check out this cool action figure. Now you guys know Sharella is one of the figures I've been waiting for a very, very, very long time. In fact, here's an example of Sharella in a poster that was made. Well, there she is again. I got two of them here. Hold on. That's not the second one I was looking for. Okay, now I'm going to have to go through all these really quick and see if I can find it. No, those are all just 8 backs and 12 backs. Where's my Sharella picture? Did I throw her over here? Oh, here she is. Here she is. So this was the first time anybody ever saw Sharella. It was on the box art of Megator, and that's what she looked like. It's a small little extra character in the background. And it was also mentioned in one of the storylines that they were using to produce the potential powers of Grayskull. And so someone just figured that the name Sharella must match this figure. They put the two together, even though it may or may not be. She may just be the background character. So as you guys know, I made my own cool custom. Ta-da! I've shown her off many times, many videos, and so I'm not going to show her off completely all again this time, because let's just get into the cool figure that is Sharella, which is the first official release. Well, it's not the very first official release with that name. With the green goddess version of Teala for classics also had that name. But this is the first release of this character on the box art that's ever been released by Mattel. All right. Whew. Without further ado, let's open her up. Now, one thing I'm really glad Mattel has been doing is putting these shadows of the figure inside the box so you know what is in there, because I have so many boxes from Mattel now without any kind of clue of what's actually in the box. What's in the box? I need to know. Now, normally I'd go through a whole entire history of who Sharella is and everything else, but I'll add that to the end of the video. So if you want to stick around in the end and learn more about Sharella, you can. They have some tissue paper. So that will be as an extra bonus at the end of the video. There she is. Wow, she is a lot lighter skin tone than I was expecting. I thought she'd be a lot tanner like Teala was when you got the Teala Origins figure. Alright, so that's cool. She's got a slider box. Whoop. And this is raised right here on there. So interesting. And now she's part of the Powers of Grayskull line. Oh, it says it right there. Powers of Grayskull, which basically takes place as like a pre-Eternian world where it is basically full of dinosaurs and cool characters and giants and everything else. All the cool stuff. Now she has her footlocker here. Let's see what's in the footlocker. Nothing. Dun da da! A box of nothing. This must be fresh Eternian air. Fresh Eternian air in a box. Alright. Let's go ahead and pull her out of here. She does have a comic, which is just for her. And let's take a look at said comic. That is really cool looking. They did an awesome job with that drawing of her. Shows her and Hero together. Hero. Looks like an evil version of Hero. There she is shooting her bow and arrow. Shwink! Alright. So, let's take a look first at her accessories. So that's what I'm kind of excited about. It's stuck in there. Luckily, I still have my wife's scissors here. Someday she's going to want them back. So we have a small little bow. Chink, chink, chink. And it's not really made for shooting, but now it gets stretched out pretty quick. And one arrow. So if you lose this one arrow, you are out of luck. And then we have the figure. Da-da-da, and she has her cool little arrow thing, and it has a little pouch on the side that is unopenable. Now I really am digging her hair color. That is really cool looking. It's not too red but not too brown. It's just a real nice shade of color. I really like the way it looks. She does have armbands on her arms, on her upper arms. No wristbands though. I wish they would have put one on, just on this side of some sort, where the arrow shoots across, but that's okay. And I imagine the arrow goes right into the spot. Dun-da-da! Just blends right in. And there you go. Now, what I'm curious is how far apart you can take her apart. Because I may want to try to figure out some way to replicate this to put on my custom. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Alright. Let's go and grab another Classics figure just to compare. Or not Classics, Origins figure just to compare. Oh, there we are. So here is She-Ra. And again, I just wish her skin tone is a little different. As you can see next to She-Ra even, she looks very, very pale. And so you can't like give her a cool armband by just swapping out the forearms. You have to literally swap out the whole body. Which is nice to know too if this comes off, because then you could swap out the whole body. But then again, you wouldn't have that awesome hair color, because you'd have to remove it from her head. That is a lot of effort. A lot of effort. Alright, let's go and compare her next to Teala. Now, I could see them using this Sharella in order to make our DC Comics Teala. Alright. So, unfortunately, I already swapped this Teala's hair and head. I mean, so you can't quite tell, but this is the original with the wrong boots. But you can see she has the same boots as Teala. She has the same legs as Teala, and different waist section, different top. The upper arms might be the same as Teala's, but the lower arms are completely different. I don't have a sorceress nearby, but I'm guessing the lower arms might be the sorceress's arms, but I'm not sure. But again, I wish they kind of gave her more of a tan, but that's okay. She still looks really cool. Alright, let's go ahead and try to shoot her bow and arrow just for kicks to see if it is shootable, fireable. Let's just load up that arrow in here. Pull this back. Chink. And then stick the arrow in her hand. Okay, I'm just going to pull this back this way. Here we go. Let me unzoom this. Oh, dud. Okay, let's try this again. Let's try this again, shall we? Okay, does not really shoot too well, which I didn't anticipate it to, but more for looks than actual action. But still really cool. I'm really glad we have her. Let's go and pose her next to Hero and see how she looks next to Hero. What? Why is she so much shorter? Hold on, hold on. Are all the females shorter like that? She's a little shorter than Teala. Not much. Ah, Teala, your arm came off. Just a tad bit shorter, but it's funny, next to Hero, she looks quite a bit shorter. Weird. Okay, let me grab a different figure. He-Man. And let's compare He-Man to... Well, he is a little taller than He-Man. Weird. I didn't realize Hero was so tall in comparison to the other figures. It must be the torso. This torso piece must be taller than the standard torso piece. Or maybe the shorts are taller because of the way the belt is. I'm not sure. I'm going to have to measure. That's going to bother me knowing that his legs are taller. Wow, it's the boots. See, look. You can see. Let me try to line this up. Heck, I'll just pull the legs off so you guys can see the difference. Straighten his legs up. Straighten his legs up. Look at that. So that's why Hero is already taller than He-Man, just from that alone. And now let's check and see if the torso's taller too. Now it's hard to tell. But yeah, the torso is a little taller too, maybe. Maybe not. Maybe it's the same height. Let's get him. Nope, it's just a tad little bit taller. Remember, he has a Classics head on, so that gives him a little extra height there. But it's just ever so slightly taller than a standard He-Man figure. So his torso's a little taller. Maybe his neck piece is taller to fit the cape on there. And then his legs are already taller too. And it's definitely the boots are taller. You can see the top of the boot is in different places. And then the shorts, I believe, are also taller, which gives us... Yeah, you can see the height difference in just the back of them, how this is taller. So you take all these things and add them together. The boots are taller, the waist is taller, the neck is taller. It gives you a taller figure all around than He-Man. All right, let's grab another figure. We will grab... Yep, sure enough. Sure enough. He's just a little bit taller. See, I have to draw a line across here. That's crazy. I know it doesn't seem like much, but that quarter inch... almost more than a quarter, about a third of an inch taller when you're talking this small of figures. Because each inch is a foot, so that's like a third of a foot. And a third of a foot is 4 inches, so that's like a 4-inch taller person. That's like someone being 5'10 versus 6'2 in height difference. That's crazy. I just assumed that they were all the same height. Little variations. So now it makes her look really short, because she's a little shorter than Teala to begin with. He's a little taller than He-Man to begin with. And now the contrast of the two, side by side, are a bigger contrast than these two side by side. Funny. See, these two are just about the same height. He's a little taller. When you go over here, it's quite a bit difference. That's crazy. But individually, they're not that much. Whoop, 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 whoop. Anyway, I was surprised. I'm guessing this midsection from here to here is much shorter. Let's do the same thing. Let's check the height of the legs. And Teala's legs. Yep, they look about the same, so it's not in the legs. And then the torso. Yes, the heights in the torso. Look at that. Look how much taller Teala is than her. Of course, her hair is more poofy too, but even the shoulder heights are different. You can see Teala's shoulders here. Her shoulder goes down. So again, if you were to draw a line with the scissors, well, it's kind of hard to do at this angle, but you can see that the shoulders are different heights. So that's funny. Just all those small little differences add up. Crazy. Okay, let's stick this back on. Oh. All right, all in all, I love the figure. She's really cool. Not a huge fan of the skin tone, but I do like the way she looks. I think if she's supposed to be a chief priestess out running around in the jungle and stuff and everything else, she should have a little bit more of a tan on her, but that's okay. Redheads usually have a lighter skin tone anyway, so no big deal. And if everyone was the same tanness, I guess that would be kind of boring, right? So, but again, as you guys know, I'm not a fan of the pinkish hue. This is just getting way too close to pink. But she is pretty cool looking. So I wonder now if they use her same body to create the DC Comics Teala, is it going to gotta shift this over. Why are you crooked? You can see here she's got more gap than on this side here. Yep, it's definitely removable. Alright, let's go and pull that off just to see how removable it is. I imagine you want to go down instead of up. Oop, yep, it totally comes off. Oh, she's got a little bra on. That is hilarious, Mattel. That is funny. See, they're definitely going to make that DC Comics Teala. That is too funny. Oh! Now she's wearing her two-piece bikini. Alright. Anyway, that is all that I have. Thanks for watching, and I will definitely... Yeah, there's no way this is going to fit on her. That's what I was hoping, was to stretch it a little bit to fit. But the stretch it'd have to do would be so huge it would not even come close to covering her. And that would be a bummer. Bummer. Mattel, you gotta make a Masterverse version of her as well. Since we already gave us the Masterverse hero, we need the Masterverse Sharella as well. Alright. Well, thanks for watching, and I'm going to take a picture of this to use for my thumbnail, because that is hilarious. And I will see you guys next video. Remember to stay after for the bonus feature to find out the history of Sharella. Bye now.
If you enjoyed it, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Do it.
Sharella? Who's that? I mean, we know who Teala is, we know who Evelyn is, we know who She-Ra is, we know all the She-Ra characters, but who is this Sharella? And so let me go and tell you where this first started. In the beginning, there was the box art. Dun dun dun. And here we have the box art of one of the giants. And way down here in the corner is this mysterious figure running by with brown clothing and a bow and arrow. And you can see we got Hero and everybody else in this picture of rocks being flying by as this kicking power of the big giant green giant, jolly green giant. Anyway, so this box art intrigued me. I'm like, that is so cool. I really want that figure. We were all talking about it a long time ago, especially when Mattel gave us Hero. We're like, they gave us Hero, they gave us the Giants, and so we had Megator, and we had I gotta forget his name now, Titus. And so we had the Giants, we had, of course, Hero, and we had King Grayskull, but of course King Grayskull was not on the box art because it was before his time. And they even gave us Eldor. So we had all these really cool Powers of Grayskull figures. Pog. Where are you? There you are. But we didn't have any females for way back in the time. And so, on the box art, we had this one character who was unnamed, unknown, and the name Sharella kind of got kicked around. I think there was in some kind of Masters of the Universe lore, they had the word Sharella there, but they didn't identify who it was in the Power of Grayskull's line. Now, when we got our classics, they did give us a Sharella figure, and that is this figure right here. The green Teala was known as Sharella, which was kind of interesting. They called her that because obviously we didn't know what her name was in the comics. We just figured she was Teala. But anyway, if you take a look at the back of the box, the classics, this was our Sharella, which obviously does not match. Here, I got a bigger picture of that corner picture. Here we go. Which does not match our cool barbarian tribes person female. Now you can see this female is pretty nondescript, because it was so small in the box art, there was not a lot to go on, and so imaginations could run wild on how she should look. So I made quite a few iterations of her. This is my final one right here. Let me get a different light. This light is dying. And I'll go plug this one in. And my first Sharella just had Teala head with long blonde hair. And then I dyed the hair. Actually, this is the hair that I dyed originally. But I decided I wanted to give her a different face. Otherwise, it's just Teala running around again. And we already have the green Teala. And then we have, well, I guess all we have is those two, really. But I wanted to give her a different face, so I gave her the face of Miss Elizabeth. And that's whose face that is. And now, her top half of her clothing, at one time, I tried to make it a fur type clothing, but it just did not come out very well. So this is actually Captain Glenn's clothes. I just cut it off mid-waist and then painted it brown. The original one, I actually stained it brown, but the staining didn't last. And then I made this on Shapeways a long time ago based off of the picture. Now it's funny, I actually took the picture and kind of traced it in order to make my bow and arrow. So that's why it bows this direction right there. So that is the reason for the shape of this. And then I made a cool little back piece here that is made out of hot glue on the bottom, and then heat shrink tubing that I rolled over. And then I got these arrows. Now back then I didn't have a 3D printer, so I had to make them all in Shapeways and had them mailed to me. But it actually does shoot. And I have a video showing these shooting across the room, and they do work pretty good. Chink. You guys probably didn't even see that, did you? It was so quick. Let's try that again. Let's try that again, shall we? So let's line it right up here, pull it right back, and hoga. And there it goes. Anyway, so this was my Sharella. Man, I don't know why I'm having a hard time saying her name. And I just loved the way she came out. why am I making this video? Because Mattel has announced their Sharella. Now, the one coming out from Mattel is much more like this picture here, which is a really cool picture. And this is made by Emiliano, I believe. And you can see we got a lot of the Powers of Grayskull, where we have Hero, and we got Eldor, and we got Kildor on the back. And then we have Sharella there. And he ended up making her part of the same tribe as the Cringer. So she has a Battle Cat helmet she wears in the other picture. And they actually made this line of toys, which they were going to release a figure that was based on this Sharella figure. You can see here. All right, so now that I told you the history of Sharella and where she came from and why we're all excited about getting her, again, she was just an extra on the back of some box art for this guy right here. There she is way down there. And lore has spread about her ever since this picture was discovered. I mean, most people didn't even notice it. It's so small. Just an itty bitty character on the box art. Eldor. Anyway. But I noticed her. Dun 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 dun. There she is. Alright, well that is all I got. Thanks for joining me. And like they say in the 1987 movie, good journey.
If you found enjoyment, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. Do it.